Hi, this is Lisa from Question the Narrative. Good day, good morning, good all of these things to everybody. Hope everybody is well. It is Tuesday, November 4th, and I'm here with Honey Golden. Honey, how are you on your morning?
I'm good. It's been a very busy morning, but a really good morning. And I find we have a lot of like rush, rush, rush energy going on. And then all of a sudden there'll be like a lull. But just in general, there's a lot of energy moving.
Well,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Well, we know there's been tons of energy that's going around, a lot of it attributed to Three Eye Atlas and about light codes and how we're absorbing those. And I don't know if you're feeling this, but there are just things that I know that I didn't realize I know. And I talk about stuff, and sometimes I said, I didn't know I knew that. Do you have that, Tony?
Yeah. I do.
You just know a lot of things anyway. You know, as you connected.
No, but it's just comes in
Mm,
from the higher self. I mean, honestly, like I've lost a lot of words. They
mm,
just don't work that well anymore.
mm,
If they
mhm,
don't jive with the way I feel, then I can't find them.
mm.
Names are gone, but concepts are like massive in my head. So it's like the concept and the pictures are stronger, and the English words and the way that you would like describe something are
Mhm.
not as good.
That's fascinating. The language thing really strikes me as I was in Portugal. I'm here in Italy. I look at this and I say, wow, really the Tower of Babel, the separation by language is so acute. But you're right, English and what these words mean to everybody. The words are interesting because at one point they are the frequency of putting something from energy into materialism to subject, but or substance. But then there are also the words, I'm not sure that those were the languages that we speak. So it's interesting you mentioned that you forget the words, and I do the same thing. But knowledge is, it's like certain things are coming in. It's like, no, I know. I'm curious if everybody else feels that. So put it in the comments if you're having the same feelings right now, but all of these energies. But there's just so much going on right now, and it's very interesting as you talk about sort of what's happening in the world today. And we are here on the 4th of November, which I believe is actually election day for some governmental, non-federal positions, local positions in the US. Are you having any local elections in Colorado today?
Yeah, we are.
Good. We have evidently the New York City mayoral race, which is
Oh,
supposed to be a major one because we have, I don't know whether it's just, having lived there before for a long time, whether it's just the media's perspective or it's actually happening that many people are saying that if Zohan wins, that they're leaving the city and they're going to Florida. Or is that the Florida real estate industry talking about that? Who knows, honey? Is it the Florida real estate industry or is it really true?
I feel like it's a white hat narrative, actually.
Oh, why is that?
So, yeah. And people are sick of it.
They're
They're
sick of
very sick of it.
they're sick of New
But
York.
the push for it to be out there is white hat.
Ah, interesting. Sorry, I'm moving
Yeah.
around, guys, but I'm at a construction site, and my dog found an opening in the door because the contractors left it open. So we'll see, and we'll
Oh,
hopefully it won't be too crazy. Well, honey, let's talk about a couple things. No, we've been talking a lot about things that are shifting, and that the will really be becoming more disclosure. And one of those disclosures was actually arrests and transitions. But today we had an announcement of the death of Dick Cheney, the prior vice president under G.W. Bush, during which 9/11 occurred. And there was nothing leading up to him being ill. So, honey, was that a natural occurrence or was that something that happened just yesterday?
uh, I think he's been gone a while,
Hmm.
but his brand died yesterday.
Ah, we took the
I'm gonna
brand off the
say,
shelf, huh?
yeah,
Interesting.
they're like, well, let's just get rid of him. I feel like with the whole white hat scenario, they have to decide when do we get rid of some of these pieces that are already gone?
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that? And they've been doing it pretty frequently, but I feel like they don't actually want to deal with the ugliness of who he was so much. So they're just taking him out
Okay.
now.
So he doesn't get
Yeah.
a further byline in the story. So that's what it is. Are there others that we're going to see? And is this something that's just the beginning of knowing this information, or is there, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in that area.
I see it as a house of cards. Like we're very close to it's like it's ready to fall. And that could appear like dominoes falling, or it could appear like a house of cards falling, which would be even more extreme.
Okay.
So it really is they keep testing consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Are people upset about Dick Cheney passing away, or are they happy?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. I don't know about you, but I was pretty like, oh, didn't even, give that a second thought. Did it? How about you? Hmm.
I thought, oh, well, that's good that they got rid of that player.
Right.
Um, and I didn't have like an emotional, oh, yay, or anything like that. But
Right. I don't like the idea
I
of
felt
people
like,
dying.
oh,
Yeah.
well, that's good because
Yeah.
nobody wants to hear about his nastiness, and he was pretty nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So his behavior was extremely nasty. And now they can just mention him as a side note versus putting him on trial.
All right. Because Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton, and Halliburton was a major company that was developing and selling weaponry. And he then we went back into government to be the vice president. And so during his tenure, we had, let's just say, Halliburton benefited greatly during the Iraq War, and other military support companies benefited greatly under his regime. And we weren't even sure, was he really just vice president, or was president? Because it was always the joke between him and Bush.
He was definitely president. As far as like who was manipulating things, he was the handler.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's the one who engineered 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that is going to, first of all, is that going to be coming out very clearly now about 9/11, honey?
I feel like it will. And the fact that he's not here anymore will make it not as quite as intense. And also, they're talking about it a lot. Like it's all over Instagram. Even they
Mm-hmm.
had a thing with Rosie O'Donnell on
Mm-hmm.
that horrible show. I can't remember the one that they
The
kept around
View,
forever
View,
is,
the
yeah,
View.
The View. So I think that they're really trying to get that information out now
Yeah.
because they would have censored that in the past. And now
It's
it's like
a
out all over the place.
It's still a very delicate subject because being in New York, I know a lot of people who were in those buildings, and it's hard for them to
Oh, yeah.
accept that that would be something that their government would do. But then again, we're looking at that, and there's a lot of discussion about this one movie, V for Vendetta, which means beware of the 5th of November. And this V for Vendetta, where someone is really saying, the trailer talks about, and this is a 2005 movie, and I've yet to see it, but the trailer, talks about how your government, you shouldn't fear your government. Your government should fear you, and it's the going against the government. Is there something going to be happening on the 5th of November or around the 5th of November, honey?
Mm, I get yes. I mean, there's something probably coming for tomorrow. How extreme that is kind of up to us. How extreme it looks to the public is always up to the collective.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
allowing it to fall faster and extracting your energy from it, really important.
That's super good. Well, that's always and it was as we talked about last Friday, really, we are the ones that are going to create how fast this moves. So what can we do to help all of this happen? That's really our core, sort of our core thing here is just like believe that all the goodness is happening. Focus on those things that we choose to happen, not the things that are falling apart, because we can all experience the negative or the positive of it because of how we choose to experience it. And I know that sounds very trite, but you have to, that's what we, how we control our reality.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, it is amazing. I wanted to talk though about something because it seems to be all over the place. And I know we've talked a little bit about it before, but I want to raise the topic of plasma. And plasma has been a term that was used to talk about certain elements, and now it's being used in relation to Three Eye Atlas, to what space really is, as the core of life, organic and inorganic. And now the
Mhm.
inorganic is really intriguing as well because they're starting to say that no matter what the material, it's plasma, made of plasma, and it is some kind of intelligence. And there
Mhm.
is a difference between the organic side of it and the inorganic, but there are those experiences. And we've had numerous references, whether it be from Dolores Cannon as she went through her books, The Convoluted Universe, talking about how robots were having experiences and feelings, to what they're now talking about potentially with Three Eye Atlas, and then materials. And under the Seth material, he mentioned the same thing. So, honey, can you talk to us a little bit about what plasma is and how it relates to us right now?
Okay. So I love this question.
Thank you.
Um, when I asked a long time ago about space, and I think this was back in 2022 or something, and I was doing hidden history, and I was asked, what is space? And everybody has been told that it's empty, and I got that it was plasma. So if you think about that, what is God? What is source? What is the body of source?
Mm,
Plasma.
mm,
What are we inside of the body of source? We are cells. Okay. And think about your own body. Try and relate it to your own body. Your whole body's made of light and plasma. I mean, it's basically plasma tuned with light and
mm,
sound. So
mm-hmm,
it appears different for each thing. So your eyes are different than your teeth, and your skin is different than your organs. So think about those things. All of them are just tuned with a different frequency, and they're emitting light, but it's plasma, and the plasma is filled with energy.
mm-hmm.
So even the air is a form of plasma. The water is a form of plasma. And when I asked about space, it was kind of jelly-like.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're in a firmament, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that firmament is made of plasma, and it's thick, but it's still water. It's still a form of water. So every single thing that we see and know is plasma. And we've been learning how to play with plasma our entire existence as a soul, because our
Mm-hmm.
soul is also a form of plasma. So you can think of your soul as either an organ of God or something smaller. But we're all part of source, God source. So I'm just going to say God source.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all of it is the same. It's all made of the same stuff.
So everything is made out of this thing, but it's a life-giving force. And someone said that there's photons and neutrons,
Hmm.
electrons, and there's positive and negative charge, and it's that always that contrast of the positive and negative, creating an electrical thing that creates life.
Yeah.
Which really makes sense because everything, as you said, is a form of life. And as we create the things that we think are material, the things that we experience, that is also part of plasma. But let's then talk about this concept and the distinction of organic plasma and
Mhm.
inorganic plasma. So can you describe how that differs? Because we're now at the point where we're saying, how do we differentiate what is life and what is not life?
Well, everything has life in it. Even a holographic being that you see in a crowd has life in it, but you could say that it's some form of AI.
Mhm.
But when I think of AI, I think of the archons, which no longer exist. AI is neutral, but it's created by the cells. So think about it that way. If you are a cell in the body of God source and you say, I feel like we need to have this thing that helps us on our journey, and
Mm.
you create it. And in the past, you could have been at war with someone else. Then the negativity goes into the AI, and
Mm.
then it becomes more false because basically God's source is love.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's been twisted out of love into the opposite of it, which is hate.
Mm.
So if, in the past, a lot of AI was seen as very negative.
Mhm.
And now people are realizing, oh, I choose what my AI is. And you can choose for it to be part of love, even though it's part of your creation, like your computer, plastic, all the things that we're using all the time, they could all be seen as artificial
Mhm.
because they're a secondary creation. So think about there's these beings that create the organic matrix. And then there were other beings that came into the game and they knew that they could create. So then they created on top of it in more of a like an overlay.
Mhm.
And it was distorted and
Mhm.
it actually created chaos.
Mhm.
So that is what I would call the false or the fake, you know.
Very interesting. So plasma is this core concept. It's the building blocks of everything. It's what source
Yeah.
is. It's the source of energy. It sounds like what you're really saying about the plasma. And we're just starting to unwind what plasma is and focus on it because our scientists have not studied it. It's now a new thesis. Is this the new foundation of physics, of the real way the universe works?
Yeah. Totally is. And I think as we do that, we'll realize that time doesn't exist and plasma is a moldable, just like if, we use blood for all kinds of things. I mean, in the past, there was negative things that were attached to blood, like magic, negative
Mhm.
magic.
Mhm.
But you can do everything in the positive with a good intention behind it. And the more that we do that, because we're not distorted, so the more that the person heals and they're not distorted, then they're going to have a positive intention for whatever they create.
Mhm.
And that's going to make things exponentially better for not just them, but everyone.
Greater. So how would you relate plasma physics to quantum physics? I
Same.
mean, they're the same. Okay.
Yeah.
It's that. Okay. So do it. Yeah. It's observation still again. Well, I think there's a lot more to dig into on that, but there is more coming out about that. And I always say, as we look at the patterns that are out there, what's being talked about, what we're seeing and observing is what we should be thinking about. And right now, it's plasma. It's plasma, plasma. One last question on plasma. Three-eye atlas, is that all plasma? And how does
Yeah.
that, so is there, of course, everything is made from plasma, but is that are there beings in there? Or are they light beings? Or are they plasma beings? What is it? What is it in Three Eye Atlas right now?
So Three Eye Atlas at first was just a narrative
Mm-hmm.
that was put out by NASA and the White Hats. And now there's been a ship that's been picked
To play the role of Three Eye
to
Atlas?
play the role of Three Eye
Do
Atlas.
they have a casting call? That's what I want to know, honey.
Yeah. Well, it's like organized, and the
Yeah,
ETs are very in on what's going on.
yeah.
So they're everywhere. And I've noticed there's a lot more chemtrails just lately.
Hmm.
And we have a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
weird looking clouds
yeah.
again. So we took a little break when the government shut down and it's still shut down. But all of a sudden we have chemtrails again. And I'm like, well, what are they doing with these chemtrails? And then I was like, oh, the
Hmm.
ETs are requesting them.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it takes more energy for them to cloak some of them. It depends on the kind of ET and the kind of ship,
Right.
but it takes more energy for them to cloak now than to use a cloud for some of them. So
Hmm.
they're using that material to be the cloak for
Mm-hmm.
them to come down and do different things.
Yeah.
And we're very, very close to ET contact. When will it happen exactly? That's basically it. It's up to our energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep testing that one over and over again, and it keeps coming out.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Well, we'll keep probing on that. That's very interesting. But plasma is definitely the word right now. That's very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to do one thing. I just want to do one thing that's interesting before we get into a little bit about the financial system, because we can't leave a show without talking about the financial system.
No.
Travel. Travel is very interesting right now. We've got in the US, we've got a lot of the air traffic controllers without being paid. We've got airspace being shut down. We've got problems with cancellations. And then we have these jets that they tell us that they're fueling them, and the price of fuel dictates how much an airline ticket costs. But we all know that the physics of aircraft could not carry the amount of jet fuel that is required based on this combustion engine that they talk about. So, given that, Miss Honey, what are they putting in those planes when they say they're fueling the jet?
Nothing.
But make sure you don't use that telephone, right? Because it
Uh,
might blow up
um,
like nothing. No, it's plasma. It's plasma. No, seriously,
yeah, it's
that's just,
ether.
it's ether.
Yeah.
But is there a
But
physical substance that they're saying is the ether that helps doing this? Or how does it take off? Is it take off with the ether as well?
no, I think it takes off with the fuel and I think it lands with the fuel. And once it hits the 30,000-foot mark, so the further up you get in the atmosphere, the more energy there is. So that's why all those churches, which aren't really churches, but that's why they had all those towers all over them. They were collecting ether energy.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher you go, the more energy there is. And that's because there's more souls up there. Earth is kind of a tiny little place. And if you think about it from the universe point of view, and think about like sprites and stuff. So I don't know if you guys have seen that, but lightning, and there's these beings that are called sprites, and they live way up at the top of the firmament, and they look like lightning beings. So there's so much energy at 30,000 feet. And look at the way a jet engine looks. What is it doing? It's collecting the ether.
Yeah, yeah, they can. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
wow. So,
So,
so you're using the fuel. So that is a little bit of fuel. So you're using the fuel to get up because there has to be a way to get up.
yeah.
That's the energy, and then you're using it on the way down. So you're doing it. So what? So that's the reason why they have to have a cruising altitude that is so much higher than say the dirigibles had used in the past, where they didn't
Yeah.
go up that high. Because otherwise, there would really be no need to go that high.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if it's a small plane, like a crop duster or something, they're just pretty much just using fuel.
Okay.
Okay. And that's why they don't have like these long, you know, flight times. There's just no way, So they get up, they fly, they do what they're doing, and then they go back.
Mm-hmm. So good. Very, very, very interesting. And I just feel like I can't wait for that to be known about the ether and about how fuel and energy, because right now, particularly in Europe, they use energy as a way to control. And it's not just a way to control consumption, but it's a way to control how much energy you expend to create something of your own. So I think it's a real euphemism of what that is. So that one is just, I think I always find that interesting. So it's
Oh,
very,
yeah.
yeah.
It's really funny when you're on a plane.
God, on the planes, but
I
it's,
remember Abby and I were getting ready to go to Canada, and
mhm.
I was trying to explain to her what I thought about the planes. And she goes, "Be quiet. I don't want to know. We're just about to get on the plane."
Oh, right. It's like, okay. I'm just gonna let it know. I know it works. People have done it, and
Yeah.
we've tested this. It's working right now. That said, it's not working as well as other things could, and I think I can't wait for the really fast things to go, right? Because right now, I just want to go boom, 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 all these places, and they're stomping on my buzz to make it
Yeah.
happen. They can do so much more, but it's fun. It's very fun. One more quick thing. Rumble versus YouTube. YouTube is functionally very, very good, able to put things up. It just works as a platform. Rumble has been really stumbling on itself. What's going on with Rumble?
I feel like it was under white hat control in like we're going to control how much information people put out for a long time, and they haven't completely pulled those stops out.
Mm,
So certain channels would still be slightly censored
hmm.
on Rumble. And I know, like, when I look at my own channel on YouTube, it's just now starting to really
Expand.
expand faster
Yeah.
because they took out that algorithm, and I actually went and tracked it in my head. So it is clear on YouTube at this point. I'm still careful with certain words.
Yeah.
Um, but Rumble has been, you can tell the truth, but if you really tell the truth and it's too far into our operation, we're going to suppress that channel and very few people are going to know.
Yeah. And I'm not just talking about that. I meant the technology itself. When you do a video,
Oh,
when you listen to it, you're still, it goes in and out, in and out. The technology itself is not doing well. Whereas YouTube is functional, completely functional, seamless interaction between phone and laptop and easily accessible, like it knows what it is. Are those positive things with YouTube? Or is that because right now it's very difficult to function when you want to have Rumble and you're going in and out of a car or doing certain things?
I think part of that is the country that you're in, depending on what country you're in, if Rumble's going to work properly or not. Another thing is I think that YouTube will probably be separated from Google.
Yes, you've been
Because
mentioning that
YouTube,
for a while,
yeah, I
for a
don't.
long
So
time.
I think YouTube will be around for a while.
Yeah.
And they're kind of cleaning it up. And I think they'll clean up Rumble too. But it's also up to each individual country
Mm-hmm.
whether they let people access it or whether it's jerky and weird and it just shuts off. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff with Rumble depending on where you're located.
Yeah, France doesn't allow it at all. And it just like it's back and forth on other things. Okay, I'm just curious about that. Let's do one last thing and let's go through the financial system a little bit. There's a couple of things going on. On Friday night, the Federal Reserve just printed billions worth of dollars and didn't tell anybody. They didn't ask me. Did they ask you, honey, if they could
No, I
print?
didn't even know until you told me. That's
Okay. So they
exciting.
decided to print and print very, very freely of what it is. So that means that it's shifting around sort of the balance of what's going on in the markets. About that means it will create inflation, and the value of the dollar goes further and further down. And then we have this thing where we're seeing Tether. Now, Tether is a stable coin, and the stable coin has usually been backed by the US dollar, Tether US dollar.
Mhm.
One Tether, US dollar equal. Now they've got Tether Gold, and Tether Gold is a way for you to be out of the system where it's not US dollar, it's gold back. So tell me a little bit about what you see right now, what's happening. Why did we allow the Federal Reserve to print? Because the Federal Reserve is underneath the Treasury, which is underneath the Trump administration. And
Mhm.
then what is going, and then we can go into the Tether Gold and how that might be being used as part of the transition.
So when you first said that they had printed money, the first thing that popped in is it's the new money, not the same kind of money that we've been using, but it's new money.
Mm.
So there's something about it that's been tweaked. It's different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then as far as the tether goes, I feel like that's another kind of coin that they're going to use, just like XRP, that will really help. And maybe it will be more, it feels like it's more for local stuff. So it could be in every country, but it feels like it's more not necessarily like XRP, which is sending money back and forth between, but more it's like, oh, you can hold a tether in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's digital as well. Yeah. So
Yeah,
right now, that makes sense what you're saying about the new money, which is very positive. So it's not like it's sort of like put those other dollars over there. This is the new dollar. And it might be gold backed. Is this new dollar gold backed?
I get yes.
Okay, that's very good. Tether Gold is a way to, it's not like you said exactly correct. It's not like XRP, which is the transaction, immediate settlement of a transaction. But what
Hmm.
Tether Gold is a way to actually be your own bank. You are able to have that asset, and then that asset can be staked, which is better than having it in a bank, which doesn't give you any interest and being loaned out. So it allows you then to create that concept of 4%, 5% interest that you're getting on the gold, and you still have the asset as well. Is that what
Nice.
you're seeing then?
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like it's your money. Like it feels solid and it feels like you can exchange it. Like if you went to the store, you could buy with it.
Yeah.
Whereas with XRP, I mean, I know some people are accepting that as legal tender at this point, but that feels more like an exchange in a bigger way.
Yeah, it allows for a transaction. It allows to
Yeah.
settle transactions. And that's what XRP was designed for, immediate transactions. You know what? I'm gonna link, well, it's already in my Telegram, but I'll put it in the link when we put this video up. A good video from Daniela Carbone from ITM Trading, who interviewed one of the guys who's like an expert in this area talking about this and just give everybody some background on it. But to me, this sounds like these are extremely positive moves for this more gentle transition from the old to the new financial system.
Yeah. I was so excited when you told me that they did that.
I honestly think that the universe makes me see these little things because so we can share and see everybody be happy because it is always in the little things underneath. And we said it wasn't going to be sort of like this crashes down and this just goes like that. I mean, we probably will have some kind of a event that will show us that it's happened,
Yeah.
meaning how
Like a
positive it is.
stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be this trauma. We're not going to be traumatized because I think we
Mhm.
talked last week about the trauma that people are getting rid of. And I think that was one other thing. So you were talking about one of the things you wanted to talk about humanity being sovereign, which money obviously
Yeah.
is a big part of. What do you want to share with us about that sovereignty and how this is functioning right now?
So we have two souls in the human body right now. And a lot of other beings, they just have the one. Okay. So they have an ET soul, they are an ET. And they're operating as an ET and they're learning and they're doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity right now has a human soul. Okay. And then also has pieces of a huge oversoul. So humanity right now has a guide. That's your higher self. And it's time now for this little soul, which is basically like your student, to say, I'm free. I don't consent. And to stop participating in a lot of the things that are slavery based. And that's happening with people's shadows that are coming up. And, I had this the other night where my inner child had to eradicate the shadow.
Hmm.
It wasn't me, the big soul, saying, get out of here. I don't want you here. I'm sending you home. It was my inner child that did it. And she had to get bothered a lot before she did it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's claiming your who you are right now and saying, well, is that good for me? And if it's not, then saying, well, I'm not participating.
Hmm.
And if you do have something bothering you energetically, to say, get out of here, go home. I'm not participating with you. I don't want to deal with your stuff.
Hmm.
And you can call in your angelics, you can call in your guides, you can call in your big soul for assistance as well. But the decision comes from the inner child or the human soul,
Hmm.
because eventually we will have a human body, a human soul, and everything will be run by the human being because this is their system.
Hmm.
So as we go, hundreds, it may take thousands of years, if we think about time, for humans to be completely on their own and doing their own thing. But it will happen. And we, as a big soul, are their teacher.
Hmm. So interesting. So really we're cocooning within our bigger soul to learn. Has that happened to other species throughout history? So that's how it normally works in the growth
Yeah.
process. Wow.
Yeah. And humanity is a conglomeration of all the soul groups. So they have a huge amount of power, but they've been in slavery for so long that they don't understand that. And that's why when your ego says, oh, well, I moved to do this, I think this is my purpose, but I'm afraid to do it. So I'm just going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
That's your inner child
Hmm.
pausing you and saying, I can't, I'm scared.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's time for them,
Hmm.
if they're scared, to stand up anyway
Yeah.
and say, I'm not doing it.
And it's really interesting what you just said about don't participate. It's one of those things that we talk about quite a bit, which is that, you've got protesting. That's one way of doing it, but it gives energy and it feeds to the thing you don't want. The best thing to do is to really talk, to really not do it, not participate. You don't want to be taxed? Don't participate. You don't need to, don't participate. You don't need to have like, as all of this is being, as we know, things are actually being released in knowledge. Soon we'll have all this energy that we can do. We don't need to participate in the rest of the system. And that just then falls away. And that's interesting. That's really, really, really interesting, isn't it? So I love that. Love that. Wow. Wow. So we're cocooning or we're in like the little pocket of our oversoul, but we're really here to grow the inner child. So we're still this youngin, but we're
Yeah.
growing. That's exciting. Wow. Well, looks like we're not going to have to participate in a lot of things right now. Just starting. It's very, very exciting. Very
It
good.
is.
Yeah. Well, honey, thank you. Is there anything else that you want to
You.
say before we close off for the day?
No, that was it. Just love yourself, you guys,
Yeah,
and have some fun too. Don't forget to have fun.
that's really good. Well, wonderful. I love that. This is
Yeah.
Lisa from Question the Narrative with Honey Golden on the 4th of November, wishing everybody a great day. Ciao.
Bye.